Alright, back again. The Mirage stuff keeps on coming. So today, I did get the Ultimate Foot Ninja. The last time I did a video, it was actually the Turtle 4 pack, and I mentioned I did not get this one. I did see it at the store. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I do post some pictures there when I find cool stuff in stores. So make sure you follow my Instagram if you want. Because foot soldiers don't excite me very much. There's 100 million foot soldiers out right now. But I love the Mirage comics. I love the stylings. I love everything about it. So I just had to get it. So the only one I haven't found yet is the Elite, Foot Elite, and Splinter. Those are the only ones that I know are out that I have not been able to find sort of in the wild. So I just had to get it. And after I looked at all the accessories it came with too, man, I was sold after that. This thing comes with so many different weapons and stuff. Because there's so many different foot soldiers, right? And we'll go over the history of them a little bit in the Mirage comic books. Because there's a couple different sort of eras with the foot soldiers. Like the first era from the first couple issues. The first book I have is issues like 1, 2, and 3, I think. And the foot soldiers in that era had the red shirts on. And they had like gray sleeves and gray pants. And there are figures based on that. There's that, I think it was a New York Comic Con exclusive or something like that. It was Shredder and the 3 different foot soldiers. And those foot soldiers in that set are specifically from the first sort of, 8 issues of the comic book, the Mirage comic book. And this style of foot soldiers is from book 4 of all the books that I have, the Mirage trade paperbacks. But in the issues, it's around issue like 9 and 10, I think, where they definitely changed. They changed to a very monotone outfit. It was more gray than this, but it was monotone just like this. And most of them did not wear bandanas. The bandanas were gone at this point. There is a bandana head in here. And then after issue 10 or so, the Turtles had a lot of adventures, away from New York. And when they came back to New York, there was a big, crossover. And that's when they introduced some of the newer type of foot soldiers. So like the third iteration. So the set basically takes the more modernized foot soldiers and just gives them all these different accessories from all of their appearances throughout the book, which I obviously am going to put pictures here about. So based on all that, I definitely wanted to get it, even though it's a foot soldier. There's a million other foot soldiers out there. What they did with this set, I think, is really cool. I don't know, so let's stop blabbing and look at the box. So obviously, the original Kevin Eastman art, like they've been doing for the rest of the series, pretty amazing. This box is definitely different than the other boxes because it's not windowed. It's actual, it is windowed, but it's actually got this sleeve that you pop open. So this is the first figure in the Mirage series that I know of that has this sleeve here. And so these action shots on the inside, you got a bunch of different shots of the different styles. Unmasked head, bandana head. There's a cage, like a training head, and just some variations on the weapons and stuff. And obviously windowed package here. Got more of the original art on the front right there. The Ultimate Foot Ninja. And this is definitely the ultimate. Once you look at the accessories, you'll understand why. All right, so first side, you have more of the Kevin Eastman original art, which I adore. I absolutely love. And on the other side, you got 10 in the series and the headshot. And I can't believe we're up to the double digits already in the series. Going around to the back, you have the more comic style action shots. Again, more figures in the series, which I love. So he is out. I've seen people that have him, but I can't find him anywhere. And then this guy, I think maybe this guy's an exclusive somewhere. I don't know. Right, opening figure montage time. Right, so the Ultimate Mirage Foot Soldier out of the box looks very good. The sculpt work is awesome, like always. The cell shading, can't say anything about that. Anything more about that I haven't said before. NECA's the king of cell shading. I love it. One thing to note on him is most of the Mirage figures just have, the black cell shading on it, but he's actually got light tones on there too. So that's definitely a nice touch for sure. And the figure's pretty slender, pretty small. There's not much plastic here, but man, oh man, I'm just in awe of the accessories he comes with. So we'll go over the accessories in a second, obviously. But this is the base foot soldier body, and you know, he matches the comic books perfectly. Obviously, this is a sort of army builder, and again, it goes back to the accessories. He's got way more accessories than he can single-handedly hold. So this is definitely an army builder of some sort. Maybe they'll release a pack down the line of just the base body or something like that. You know, a 2-3 pack with no accessories. Because I'm just, I don't know, I'm still in awe of the accessories he comes with. I'm blown away by them. So, you know, here he is. Let's go over the articulation and obviously, you know, the stuff I like. Obviously the cell shading and stuff I like. There is a production error on mine. There's a little white spot right there. And I don't know if it's a paint spot or if the plastic underneath is white and that's just an unpainted chip out of it. But, you know, it's permanent on there. It doesn't come off or anything like that. So there's a little white spot on my dude, which has never happened to me in a NECA figure before. I've never had, you know, a paint production error or anything like that. So this is the first time for me. Just a little spot. I guess I can live with it. He does have multiple heads, which we'll go over in a minute. But going back to the look, this is obviously the classic foot soldier look from the sort of, as it evolved in the Mirage comics. This is the sort of second version. And it really hits the design notes of the series so far. The cell shading, the sort of muted colors, because, you know, when the comics first came out, they were black and white, and they got colorized a little bit later. And it matches both aesthetics like that. So obviously he comes with the bandanaed head. There's a couple multiple heads in there. I do like the red. It really pops out on this you know, dark bluish body right here. Comes with 9 more hands, but the hands he does come with, there's a grip hand right here, just a normal weapon grip hand, and a punchy hand on this side. But like I said, there's 9 other hands in there, which is more than enough for one figure, I think. So going down to the body, there's more good sculpt work here. The cloth here with the cell shading on it. This soft cloth piece right there. Cut on the side so you can move the legs freely, just like Shredder. And going down the legs, more cell shading, obviously. Cell shading for the cloths wrapped around the feet. Going around to the back, it's got some more there for the cloth folds and everything. More of that light cell shading up here, along with the dark one on the upper torso piece, which I really like. And he's articulated pretty good, so you can definitely get some cool poses here. So like, obviously, you know, so his arm goes to about there. It does go around. This does hinder it a little bit. He cannot go straight up and around by any means at all. He's got the bicep swivel, double elbows, double knees. They get a good bit of range. The hands that are on here go forward and backwards, forwards and backwards. There might be some up and down hands. We'll see when we get the hands out, but I think they're all just forward and backwards on the hands. Articulation at the waist right there. And then going down to the legs, like I said, this is obviously, you know, a soft piece. So the legs do go up pretty well because it's got that cutout there. Obviously, if that cutout wasn't there, you couldn't do nothing. You couldn't do nothing with him. So the range of motion out, up and out is pretty darn good. Down. Double knees. Whoop. All right, the foot goes back pretty far. It does go forward a little bit. It does have a toe articulation, which again is hidden really good, just like Shredder. It's hidden really good because it matches the, you know, the cell shading and the cloth on there. So very good design choice. There is a rocker in there too, so you do get a lot of movement around about his feet, which is really good. It's really good with all ninja figures like that, so you can get some cool poses. The head doesn't quite move as well as I'd like, so that's him looking up and looking down. The neck is not articulated. It does have a joint right there, if you can see that, but it doesn't go down very much. So his down is not very much. His up is not all that much. And you know, it's a little bit of side to side, not that much. He can do the exorcism. And he does have multiple heads, right? So you pop this off. There's a nice, very small joint right there, because I guess they have, you know, foot soldiers have skinny heads. They only hire skinny foot soldiers. So the base body is great. The stylings and everything, the articulation is good. It moves good. There's good articulation in the feet, so hopefully you can get some cool poses. But the showcase on this set is obviously, clearly the accessories. So we're going to jump into those next. And if it wasn't for that production area, I would just say that, you know, again, this matches the aesthetic to the line perfectly, and I have no complaints about it necessarily. I wish I did have the other version of the foot soldiers too, the first version with the red thing and then the gray, but you know, that was a set from years ago before I started collecting. I'm most likely never not going to get that. So, oh well, this is what I got. But, you know, base bodies, thumbs up. All right, so let's start out with the body accessories, right? So we'll take a look at the heads first. So obviously, like I said, it's just a bandana head and a non-bandana head. So it looks to me like the head is about the same shape, the same sculpt work and everything, but it does have extra cell shading on it. This black in the middle right there. So honestly, I think that looks pretty cool. It definitely matches the aesthetic of the sort of second version of the foot soldiers, because in the second version, like I said, they didn't wear the bandanas. But obviously, you know, if you want them to wear a bandana, make them wear a bandana. This is your figure. You can customize this figure so many different ways, like however you want. So again, sculpt work is very good. It even has cell shading on the back, sort of like a shadow. All right, next head. I don't know which specific issue this is from. I tried to find it in my research. We can even get it on there. But there is a head with like just a cage mask on it, you know, like a practice mask or something like that, which honestly looks pretty good. You can see a human face underneath. It's a fully sculpted, painted human face that looks awesome. He's got hair, black hair on there. I don't know. I'm sure this was in the comic at some point. I don't have the issue that this was in, like NECA does. I'm sure they researched more than enough. And this I don't know, could be a special character, could be nothing, could be just a practice mask. I do like the details. The details on it are really good, especially the painted face underneath. They really spared no expense. This cage is nice and hard plastic, so it doesn't feel like it's going to break or anything. Even the straps have little painted on accents there. So again, for just an off accessory, the attention to detail on it is awesome. And it does come with a soft goods cloak with it's got actual Velcro on it, so you can get it on and off. And there's a sash here too, like a belt for the waist. So let me try to get it on it so we could see how it looks with this on it. All right, this is what it looks like with the real cloth goods robe on it, and it looks pretty good. I thought it might have looked, I don't know, a little too pajama-y at first, but no, it definitely looks like a sort of training robe. It does have the Velcro, like I said, so Velcro along the back, and this belt, this sash right here, does have Velcro on it too, and it is stretchy, so you can stretch it. So you can wrap it around a few times if you don't want this hanging down. I just put it hanging down for now. But, you know, I do think it looks pretty good. It, you know, matches the blue pretty well of the foot soldier itself. It doesn't look too puffy, I don't think, with it on it. The sleeves are a little big, a little puffy, but the body looks great with it. I definitely like it. It's the first, I don't know, Ninja Turtle figure I have with a cloth goods thing in it. So I know NECA is pretty good at doing cloth goods thing. I have, you know, the two figures from the Goonies, so I have some of the real cloth stuff, because the Goonies figures, Sloth and Chunk, have the real, you know, fabric clothes on. So it looks pretty good. It does come with this piece right here, which is cell shaded just like everything else, and this is obviously like a hood, you know, a folded down hood of some sort. So, you know, just goes on his neck like that. So it looks like, you know, he had a hood on at one point, and it was just folded down. So again, that looks pretty good. It stays on nice and straight. It's cell shaded just like everything else. It does look like a solid piece right on there, so I definitely will keep it on him. It looks good. All right, now we're starting to get to some of the weapons. It looks like there's two different styles of weapons. So again, newer foot soldiers and the original first foot soldiers. So these are the newer foot soldier weapons. They share the color of the uniform down there on the handles, which is how I think they sort of differentiated it. Anyways, the cell shading on these is really good, and I've already said I really like NECA weapons because they're very hard plastic. A lot of weapons with other companies are very soft plastic, so they bend in the package, and I don't like that. But these are very hard plastic, and they're painted everywhere. They have cell shading on the handles, which I definitely like. They have some on the grips down here and on the blades themselves. So, you know, two more swords for the collection that look ballin' to me. They look amazing. They match the comic book. They match the style of the foot soldier. So I got zero complaints about these suckers. It does come with a machine gun because, you know, they're ninjas, right? But I don't know. I guess they need guns sometimes. You know, you can't always win sword fights. Never bring a knife to a gunfight, right? Is that the saying? So he does have a gun. Yes, they use guns at some point. All right, 4 ninja stars, 4 shurikens. These are definitely different than the turtle ones. They have less points than the turtle ones. And again, they're just colored for, you know, this foot soldier release to match the foot soldier. So they definitely look really cool. They're nice hard plastic, they're nice and pointy, and they match the color aesthetic of the rest of them. And this, I love this. This is like a trident sort of spear weapon, and this is definitely from the comic book. It's got the cell shading to match the foot soldier, the purple, and it's got some really cool effects on here, like the purple sort of fades out into the white points. It's got obviously the cell shading on there, which again, I love cell shading in figures. There's another white spot down there, another little paint nick down there. So, you know, it is what it is. It still looks cool. It's nice and hard plastic. It's very strong. It doesn't look like it's gonna bend very much. This is one of my favorite weapons for sure in this pack thus far. Obviously there's a lot more to go through, but I definitely like this, and I really like how the paint fades to white at the tips of those. So literally all the stuff I just showed you are enough for a figure. But no, there's more. There's more. That's enough for a figure by any other company, but look at all the other stuff this thing comes with. It comes with so much more stuff, including stuff like this. And this is the stuff that I said sort of matches the aesthetic of the first foot soldiers in the first couple issues, where the art was a little sort of muddier. Like, you know, Kevin Eastman's and Peter Laird's style was very heavy inked style. And I think they matched that with the cell shading here, because if you notice, the cell shading on these weapons, and a couple more that I'm going to show in a second, are very blotchy. They're very big, they're very bold and black. And so that's why I think this is sort of stylized for the first foot soldiers. It's missing the purple too, right? It's got none of the purple, which is stylized towards the foot soldier figure that actually came in this set. But that doesn't mean these are not amazing. They're still amazing. They're a nice silver color. The handle is a different shade of gray. It's like a dull gray, so this is like a shiny silver. You got the big cell shadings there. You got cell shading on the handles and everything. So 2 more cool bladed weapons in the pack to make your foot soldiers look however you want. And these 2 knives slash daggers match the last weapons too, right? So they're just the silver with the gray handles. It's got the bigger cell shading on it, and they definitely look really cool, and they match the first foot soldiers aesthetic, if that's what you're going for with this figure. And this thing is awesome. They definitely use this thing multiple times in the comic books, and you know, they went the extra mile. It's got the real chain on here, the real metal chain, the cell shading, the silver and the gray, the 2 tones up here, you know, the cell shading on the handle, the little spiked ball at the end. I know a lot of the times I've seen it in the comic book, the spiked ball wasn't there. This was just a stick piece, but this was definitely there for sure. I saw this multiple times, and this is an amazing accessory, especially with that real chain. That real chain on it really, you know, knocks it up a notch and makes it look amazing. All right, you got one sort of different shuriken in here, Ninja Star. It's only got 4 points, and the design is obviously different than the other ones. So I have no doubt that this appeared somewhere in the comic, maybe in the first few issues, and then, you know, later on in the comic, the purple ones were more prominent. So I don't know if this Ninja Star, you know, has, I don't know, a different official name than a shuriken. Nice and shiny. It's hard plastic. So it hits all my notes for being a cool accessory. All right, let's do these next. These are sort of over-the-shoulder carrying packs. There's 2 of them here. So this one is for arrows, I believe, for the bow and arrow, which we'll look at next. Again, it's got a nice rough texture to it. It's got the cell shading on it too. I don't know how strong these bands are. I've never pulled on them very much. I know I have a few other figures that have these, but I would caution you to be gentle with this a little bit. It doesn't look too strong, but obviously, you know, the arrows go right in there. They didn't go around the shoulder or whatever. This one right here, the same design notes. It's nice and textured. It's got the cell shading on it. Same sort of strap on it, but this is obviously for one of the swords. So I'll see which sword fits in here. But you know, he's got 2 options for his shoulder. If you want him to be an arrow foot or, you know, a sword foot. Right, and this is the sword that fits in there. The sort of more modernized purple one fits in there perfectly. And it looks awesome. All right, we're finally getting to the end, almost. So we're getting to the bow and arrow here. And I've really praised NECA bow and arrows before. They look so amazing. The arrows are nice hard plastic, so they're not all bent and funky. I'm so impressed with this. I think I went over the bow and arrows when I did the Chakahachi and Lotus 2-pack. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. The arrows even have like a little notch at the end, so you can actually put them on the string. Like, attention to detail that is just amazing. That's part of the reason why I love NECA. So, you know, the bow obviously has a real string on it. It's got, you know, the purple accents to match the foot soldier, and it's nice and big, and it's got cell shading on it, and I love it. It looks amazing for the most part. They go in there. All right, that looks good. The arrows like that, they're not perfectly in there. The heads of the arrows, the arrow points are very big, so it definitely doesn't leave a lot of space in there, but I actually think that looks kind of cool with the arrows, different heights. It gives, some visual contrast, so I dig it. And then, man, there's a lot of hands here. So like I said, 9 hands. So there's 9 hands. I'm sure some of them fit specific accessories, and that's why you have them. So when you know what weapons you want to sort of display them with, then you're probably going to have to choose the hands based on that. But, there's slightly different grips on all of them. There is a punching hand. These are the coolest, though. These for sure. This is definitely straight from the comic book. A lot of the times they had these, ninja claws on their hands. And again, it's nice and hard plastic. All the claws are like straight. Like, I've seen Wolverine Marvel Legends figures where the claws in the package are just like, they're like, like that on each other. Because it's such soft, cheap plastic. This is so good. So good. This is 100% how I'm going to display it. So it's got 2 different types of claw hands. So sort of an opened one and then just a fist. So, I might put a claw hand on there. Some of the other weapons in the other hand. I don't know exactly yet. But there's so many options. That's the key with this figure, is it gives you so many options to just make it however you want to make it. All right, here's how the Ultimate Foot Ninja compares to the other, some of the other figures in the Mirage line. So we have Renee, or Renette, however you pronounce it right here. We have the turtles. I can now use the turtles. I don't have to use the last Ronin as a stand-in figure anymore because I got the turtles. Ultimate Foot Ninja, and then Battle Damage Shredder. I don't have a regular Shredder. I have Battle Damage Shredder. So we've already taken the measurements of all those guys. So the Foot Soldier is about 6.5 inches tall. He's definitely, taller than a turtle, but he fits in with the other, human characters. And it looks like Renee is just a little bit shorter than the turtles. I hadn't compared them yet. So she's a little shorter than, the rest of the humans. Casey Jones is about the same size as the Shredder. So this is how he compares with the rest of the line. Alright, so that is the NECA Mirage Ultimate Foot Ninja and all the accessories. And I'm just still blown away by the number, sheer quantity, and quality of the accessories he comes with. This is a worthy addition to the line for sure. It's definitely a troop builder. You definitely, if you got the budget, you're definitely going to want more than one of these to customize them and mismatch, the accessories however you want. I'm going to have fun taking pictures for this episode. I do the pictures last, so I haven't taken them yet. But my final thoughts on this figure is definitely worthy addition to the line. I do like the cell shading. The articulation is there. The look of it's there for sure. There's a couple, paint dings on this one that I've never had in a NECA product before. But other than that, I'm very, very happy with this figure. Because, like I said before, foot shoulders, kind of plain. It's kind of a slender figure. It's not a lot of plastic there. And how they made up the difference, to make it, worth your money in the NECA way is give you so many different accessories for so many different looks. And you definitely buy this figure for the accessories more than the figure. Figure's cool, figure's awesome, but the accessories make this set for sure. If he only had half the accessories he had, then I probably wouldn't have bought it. Or maybe, I'll still buy it for the channel to review it. But I wouldn't be that happy. But I am happy. All the accessories he comes with are amazing. Even the turtles can use some of them, I'm sure. So, guys, gals, non-binary pals, thanks for looking at another Mirage figure with me. But I appreciate all the views and the support and the subscriptions and the likes and the, talking to me. Follow my Instagram. Follow my, spoutable Twitter / stuff. And thank you. Peace out.